Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday, the big question of the week. To answer that question this week, we have Bojan Smudja. Hey, Bojan, welcome back.
Hey, hello, Vasco. Here again for the fourth time.
Absolutely. And it's Thursday, Success Thursday. We'll talk about success and what that means in a minute, but let's start with one of the tools that we use to try to reach that success, which is, of course, the retrospective. So share with us, Bojan, what's your favorite retrospective and why?
Yes. I will start with a story, being a new Scrum Master to the team, while we work, and especially it was a highly technical team working in crypto world. So you can imagine the setup. I said once, let's talk during retrospective. And they said, oh no, previous Scrum Master just gave us mirror board, and then we put stickies here and there, and then we read what we put, and then we say goodbye to each other. Can we do this? I said, no, not today. Coming back to the retrospective, the most powerful one, which I employ only when there is a really, really high need, is so-called the Team Mirror Retrospective. It's a blend of a few tools, which first start with individual interviews, person to person, meaning every member of a team will have 5 to 10 minutes interview with me, like we are having in this podcast. And after the talk, I will anonymize the answer of that person. Every other person in a team will receive the same set of questions, and I will anonymize theirs too. Then I will group them and reflect them back to the team. Well, you say it's a pretty demanding thing from the Scrum Master to employ, because if you have, let's say, 10 team members, you need to arrange 10 meetings to employ anonymization, collection, and everything else. And then on retrospective, you show with maybe 5 or 10 biggest observations from that interview. But that is why I said I'm doing this only in a special occasions where there is really something big, which is tricky, because people are not willing to share it easily in a group. And while you are talking one-to-one, you can see that people open, people talk, people really want to say everything because it's a safe environment. Of course, you need to create it. And you need to be trusted person in order to, tell them that you will not share their name and anything else. Some people do not even have problem with sharing their names during this, but I do not do this for the sake of the process. And I must tell you that even if you do not have such a terrible safety issues, conflicts in a team or something else, you can employ this retrospective, because it will bruise you to be a little bit, on the side of the training. You can practice how to be better interviewer by yourself, and your team will definitely have benefit out of this. Of course, this is just preparation part. After that, there is usually stage of retrospective where you just show data, and then we discuss about what to do next. So after this, we are jumping back into usual retrospective mode. But every single time I had a great experience doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can really see how the one-on-one conversation can really bring a lot of insights that you would never get from a shared retrospective. And then when you bring those together as a whole package and you start pointing them out, it's possible for us to start finding patterns that we might have been blind to as well.
Exactly. And if I may say so, during, let's say, remote work, from the COVID time onward, I would say that is like a hammer to the every single meeting. You need to be aware that people are not seeing each other and having fun or team bonding, building, and whatever else. So as a good Scrum Master, it is always a good opportunity to bring a little of playfulness into any meeting, and the retrospectives are perfect, so you can always even do some funny activity like finding Waldo or doing some trick or let's say writing a team story during retrospective. And even if you do not have any tangible outcome, like we will limit our sprint capacity to 43 story points or something like this, you will have a boost in morale and boost in feel good metrics of the team. So I really tell all Scrum Masters, try it. Even if you are uncomfortable in approaching others, taking their time, well, by Scrum, there is a that place retrospective, which is your little heaven. And you are the owner of this meeting in any way. And everybody is expecting from you to be owner of this meeting. For the others, no. For the others, it's always somebody else, It can be or not, but for the retrospective, really, it's your meeting. Experiment and walk, the talk.
So absolutely. That's a great point. And of course, all of this we do because we want to be successful by helping others be successful. So Bojan, share with us, when it comes to being a Scrum Master, what's your definition of success as a Scrum Master?
I can tell you, when you are with your team and members of the team acknowledge this to you, that you are part of their team and that you really help them, and that they are even prepared to publicly say, here is our Scrum Master, Bojan is a great guy, or anybody else, So practically that thing is definitely, one thing that will tell you that you are a good one, Not any metrics, percentages, or anything else. This is mostly for the managerial part of the control part of the Scrum framework, but there is a big unspoken part of the Scrum framework, and that is transforming world of work part, which is how to make the workplace nice. And if you succeed in this, unfortunately, it's still only qualitative measurement. I would say that is visible, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And that unspoken part of Scrum, as you defined, the transforming the world of work, is a very important part that we don't often talk about what it means in practice, right? Mm-hmm. Like you gave an example just before in today's episode when you talked about the retrospective is our meeting, don't be afraid to experiment, right? And that's a very concrete, specific way in which we can help transform the world of work. Because at the end of the day, of course, we're building something for someone who benefits from the work that we do, right? It's not just the company that we work for, it's also the customers and users of the products that we develop. And when we bring a little bit of that energy back, like we also talked about previously, I think it was on Tuesday when we talked about learning to build empathy for the customer. That's also transforming the world of work, right? It's not, we're not just a feature factory. We're actually doing something that has an impact with someone out there. And I really like that aspect.
I totally agree. And a few days ago, really fresh, I asked my product owner, how do you know that the stuff you are doing is good? And of course, I expected from him to give me some metrics, leads, revenues, PLs, etc. And he said, I look at the faces, and if they smile, I know that I'm good. Well, I said, it's not so bad metric at all, So that was really one thing that made me really pleasurable.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great, by the way. A great example of a PO that is in touch with reality, because the metrics are helpful and they help you make the right decisions. But whatever the metrics say, if people are using your product and not smiling or not being happy about it, or being burdened or tired or frustrated, then of course it doesn't matter what the metrics say then.
Exactly, and to put in connection with what we talked, I believe, a few days ago, and from the managerial level, then I went to our manager, and I said, "How do you know then that the product owner is doing good stuff?" Because he said he is looking by the smiley face. What are you looking? And he said, "Oh, I don't expect smiley faces, but if I do not see any angry face, that means." That my product owner is okay, So you see how that perspective shifts when you go upper in the hierarchy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great insight that different people will have different perspectives. Bojan, thank you very much for sharing your definition of success with us.
Thanks.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.